Welcome back to another episode of Money Mondays with DTV. This episode is going to focus on being a month ahead on all your bills. Ideally, you would want to have 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved up in case of an emergency, in case of job loss, in case you're not coming home with as much money as you thought. But I know in today's economy, that's really hard to do. So we're going to start low and slow. It's a slow process. We're going to make it to where it's all of 2024. And by the beginning of 2025, you should be at least 1 to 2 months ahead on all your bills. It's a super easy process, and you do have to have a little bit of additional income in order to be able to follow this process. But if you've been following me for financial tips and advice, then you know that this is just part of the process. You do what works for you, but this is definitely something that before, when I was making less, I tried this process and it definitely worked for me. So let's get into it. So as usual, what you want to do anytime that you're trying to do a budget is to write down all of your fixed expenses. This is going to be your mortgage, your rent, your light bill, your water bill, cable bill, subscriptions, and all that. We're going to start with one bill. And let's just, for example, say you're going to start with your light bill. And your light bill in some alternate universe is $100. If you get paid weekly, you're going to divide that 100 by 4. If you get paid bi-weekly, then you're going to divide it by 2. And that's how much you're going to put into your budgeting envelope for your light bill every single paycheck for 1 month. So if you get paid weekly, you're going to put $25 a week into that envelope. If you get paid bi-weekly, you're going to put $50 each time you get paid for that month into that envelope for your light bill. At the end of the month, you have 1 month saved for your light bill in case it comes to more 1 month, or in case for whatever reason your paycheck is less than expected and you're short on your light bill. You got that money in there. Don't touch it for anything else. Don't use it for anything else. Leave it in there. Forget that it's there until you need it specifically for your light bill. The following month, you're going to do the same exact thing for a different bill. So for example, your water bill is $80. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to take out $20 a week for your water bill, or you're going to take out $40 bi-weekly, put it in an envelope, and don't touch it until you're short on your water bill. Hopefully you're never short on your water bill and you can just keep adding to it. This way, by the end of next year, you're at least 1 to 2 months ahead on all of your fixed expenses. Like I said, this is a low and slow process. I know that we don't always have a lot of extra money to be able to do it. The rent and the mortgage one are definitely going to be a little more challenging. But again, whatever works for you, if you have to break it up and try to do that envelope within 2 months to 3 months, that's okay. Right now, you probably don't have 1 month ahead on anything. So even if you're $50 or $60, $100 to $200 ahead next year at some point, that's okay. You got somewhere to pull from, but don't pull out of that money unless it's for that specific expense. My recommendation would be to leave the mortgage and the rent one for the end, because those are expenses that you should definitely be putting all your money into if you don't have any money for anything else. So it's not necessarily a priority when doing this method. I am going to show you the budget binder that I'm going to be starting to use in January, which is specifically for this purpose. I have several, but that is the one that I have specifically for this purpose. And I'll show you exactly how I'm going to use it to give you a visual idea of what I'm talking about. So again, the idea of this method is to have 1 to 2 months ahead on all of your bills. I know that, again, we are in a time where people don't really have a lot of extra money, but when you really sit down and look at your budget, you probably do have some extra money. You're probably spending it on shopping, buying food, buying clothes, buying things that you don't absolutely need. You can still do that, but you'll just have less money to do it with, because what we want to do is we want to prioritize this, because again, God forbid 1 month your paycheck is less than you thought and now you're short on your light bill. You don't have to worry because you have an envelope for your light bill. I'm going to show you now exactly what I'm talking about with the binder itself. We're going to have to take this inside. Okay, so this is my budget binder. I got it on Amazon. It is linked in my Amazon Rex on my profile, my link tree. So basically what I have is the first one is going to be water. My water bill comes to about $80, $84 a month. So I'm going to be saving $40 every time I get paid. I get paid twice a month. I'm going to be saving $40 every time I get paid into here. I'm going to use the balance sheet to write it down. And then I'm just going to keep track of it that way. The next month, I'm going to prioritize my utilities, which is going to be my light bill. So I'm going to write Duke up here. I'm going to put how much I'm starting with. My light bill's been coming to between $200 to $300. So for $200, I got to save $50 a week. So every time I get paid, I'm going to save $100 to $150, depending. And then I'm going to put that in here and I'm going to move on. So by March, I should be ready for household, which this is for like BJ's or Sam's Club and Costco and all that. I just averaged that out to about how much I've spent in the last couple months. This is going to be housing, so this is going to be my mortgage. My mortgage is $2,200, so I'm going to do about $550 every time I get paid and put it in here again until that envelope is filled up. It doesn't necessarily mean that I have to do it all in 1 month, but I'll have some ahead of time to be able to pay my mortgage. This is for insurance. Same thing. My car insurance is about 160, so about $80 every time I get paid. I'm going to put it in here, and I have one for every single bill that I have. So maintenance is going to be lawn care and landscaping and all that, and I have like debt and all that stuff. So that is the example of how I'm doing my budgeting to make sure that I'm always 1 to 2 months ahead. And hopefully, if you continue it that way by 2025, you should be about 3 to 6 months ahead on all of your bills. So make sure you comment below. Let me know if you have any questions. And as usual, let me know what topics you want me to cover in next week's Money Mondays with DTV. Take care, guys.